In my previous videos, I showed you the installation of the panels and system components, but this is more of the wiring diagram or system layout. The solar panels on the right are in series, 2 strings of 9. They are also connected with the DC optimizers we'll show later in the video. There it goes through the combiner box to the DC disconnect, the inverter, which goes into another disconnect, which is the AC disconnect. And lastly, it's tied into the main panel through a backfed breaker. This can be done because the inverter also matches the grid frequency, which in turn syncs the sine wave. And what this also allows is the use of the loads to use the power here, or anything extra will get pushed back through your main breaker if you have net metering set up with your meter. This is what the inside of the Tigo box is. As you can see here, the green part is the Cloud Connect. The part with the blue light up on top is the power supply that feeds it. The blue wire there runs to the top of the panels to the access point, which I'll show you in a little bit. The power for the unit here also is hooked into the rapid shutdown button on the side of the inverter, and I'll go over that here in a minute. This is the inside of the inverter. Being grid tied, it's fairly simple for connections. These 3 wires here are the 240 volt split phase that is also connected to the disconnect on the outside of the house through the conduit shown in the previous videos. It also connects into the main panel through a breaker, which is backfed into the house. Right here we have the wires for our rapid shutdown, the button outside the garage here. In the previous videos as well, you'll see that there. Over here we got our 2 strings of PV wire that come from the disconnect outside, which goes all the way to the panels on the roof. The ground wire is bonded to the main ground wire that runs all the way from the panels on the roof all the way down through the conduit to the breaker box in the house. This inverter, being a hybrid, has different features that most grid ties would not, like a generator input. It has load outs, and of course battery. In a future video we'll be hooking that up and showing you how that works. Back to the DC optimizers I was talking about before. You can see them clipped on the panel here on the right side of the picture. Basically, it's just you take the positive and negative wire from the panel, which goes into the positive negative on the DC optimizer. It has the 2 output wires connected to the unit that will either go into series with the next set of panels or in parallel, depending on your configuration. This is the communication path for the Cloud Connect and the DC optimizers. On the left is the DC optimizer that you've seen mounted on the back of the panel. The second object there is the access point, which we'll go over next. The third thing is the Cloud Connect data logger, which stores the panel data and is kind of the gateway to the app and your readouts of panel information. Lastly, this is the access point. It's a 4-wire connection that you would run to your panels on the roof. It acts as an antenna to the Cloud Connect data logger, so that way it will get the data from all panels surrounding it and send it to the Cloud Connect.